What is up, Renaissance crew? I'm the original Renaissance man, Devon DaVinci, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Now, I wanted to make a quick video because I was watching a video that Tyrone Magnus just recently uploaded. It was called I Can't Believe This. And, well, first of all, go and watch it before you watch this because I think the reason why he named it that was because he wanted people to go and check it out. So be sure to go and check that video out and then come back for my opinions. That way you don't get spoiled as to what the surprise is all about. But let's go ahead and skip ahead a couple seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now at this point, anybody currently watching should have either already seen the video. So he was talking about a friend of his who invited him to talk to a school, talk to kids at a school. It was a predominantly black school, so they wanted to show the kids black individuals who were successful, so role models pretty much. And he said that his friend had no problem having him talk, but there was a lot of teachers that had an issue with him coming in and addressing the kids. And the reason why he created the video is because apparently the reason behind why they didn't want him to talk was because they felt that because he didn't go to college, that doesn't qualify him as being a role model for the kids. And I just wanted to address the whole college situation and my opinions about college and stuff like that, because it's actually funny that me and Tyrone have kind of a parallel when it comes to our college careers, I guess you could say. I spent 2 years in computer science also because I was trying to get into video game development. I wanted to, I don't know if it was actually trying to get into the industry of video games, but I just wanted to have the knowledge of creating a video game that I could make independently. I feel like I've learned at least somewhat enough that I can do that if I like sat down and like got familiar with the language again. But yeah, it was just funny when he said that he was in college for game development. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was in college for. Actually, I spent, I'm going to say 3 years in college. 2 years I spent doing computer science, software development. And the third year I switched over and started doing sports and I think it was called sports and fit. It was something related to becoming a personal trainer. I know they're not related at all. In my school, my credits didn't transfer at all when I switched. But yeah, when I first started getting into college, I did computer science because I wanted to get into video game development. But the thing is, and this goes into what I'm gonna talk about in a minute. I got into it, and it wasn't until I was actually in the college courses that I realized what the actual job of being a software developer was going to be like. Because a lot of people, when they think that they're going to, especially with video game development, they think that they're going to get into a company or something and they're going to be working on games that they love and games they enjoy and things like that. When the truth is, if you get into video game development, especially in the industry, for starting off, you're going to be developing games that you have no interest in doing at all. Like, you be prepared to do a lot of Barbie games and shovelware that you might see on a handheld or on a Nintendo console, or some small little project that Sony or Microsoft might throw on their platform. Chances are you're going to get into games that you have no interest in actually investing your time into. So it's going to be a grind from the beginning. Secondly, the hours and the work rate that they put you through is going to be tough. It's something that you have to be prepared for before you go into it. Also, just software development in general. Or if let's say you're not in software, let's say you're in computer courses or whatever. Did you know that when you become, let's say, an IT person, usually a lot of people when they get into computer science and stuff, they start off small. They want to become an IT person. Did you realize that IT people have to be on call 24 hours? Like, if something goes wrong with the system in a company's computer network, you have to be prepared to come in and do something about it at any given time, because they can't wait for you to come back on your work days to come and fix it. And because you're probably going to be the only person there, or at least one of the few people there that actually knows how the system works and stuff, you're pretty much the only person they can depend on to try to fix those issues. I'm sure there's a lot of computer science people out there that are either agreeing with me or disagreeing with me. You can probably go in the comment section and if there's any people out there with that experience, be sure to let people know about it. That way, if there's anybody that wants to get into it, you can go ahead and explain it to them. But the one thing that I wanted to say for sure about this video was that, and it goes with everything, not just computer science, not just with specific college courses or game development or whatever. This goes for college in general. Do not get into college just because you think, oh, well, I have to go to college to get a good job. Don't do it. Your only thing it's going to do is lead to a massive amount of a massive amount of student loan debt. I managed to drop out of college because, truthfully, I felt like most of the stuff they were teaching me I already knew, and it wasn't going to be until the very the late courses, the more advanced classes, when I would start to pick up some stuff. Most of the stuff that I learned, I felt like, okay, well, I'm just wasting my time. I mean, half the time I didn't even they would have you buy textbooks, and then I would buy a textbook, but then when it came to the work, I'd never even have to open a textbook to ace the class. It got to the point where it was just like, okay, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Only thing I need from college is a degree to try to get a job in a specific area, and I just don't feel like it's worth it. So if you're going to get into college, be sure you do your research ahead of time as to what the job that you want to do is actually like, because chances are there's a lot of things that you might not know about the job, and then when you get into college, after you've already invested some credits and you've already spent money on books and the course and tuition and possibly even room and board and stuff like that, if you happen to be living on campus, you'll end up having a lot of student loan debt, and then you go into another area because this job isn't what you thought it was going to be, and now you got to start over, and now you're throwing more money into the student loan thing. And so be sure that you go and do some what are they called, job fairs. Be sure you talk to people that actually in the industry. Make sure you go and check out forums and stuff. Try to talk to people and figure it, because you want to try to get as much information as you can before you invest into this specific field. Always do your research ahead of time, and be sure that what you end up following or what you end up pursuing is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. Because, like I said, once you get into college, you can't. I mean, a lot of people do talk about changing majors and stuff like that, but truthfully, you only want to change majors once if you have to. Don't change majors more than once. Otherwise, you will have wasted your time in college. And at this point, and I'm really just talking about America, because I'm not really sure how far the student loan thing goes in other countries. I know other countries have, a lot of other countries have free school and things like that, free university. But in America, you pretty much have to have tuition for just about everything. Be sure that you go and check out grants, and make sure you sign up for as many grants as you can, so you can so you don't have to worry about paying back your student loans. You can try to knock it down as much as you can. Also, if you happen to get out of college and you have student loans, but you managed to, like I said, you managed to get out of it because it wasn't something for you, or you couldn't figure out what you wanted to do or anything like that, don't get trapped in the idea of, oh, well, the student loan people will work with you, so they'll give you an extremely low payment. And because while it's true, yes, you get an extremely low payment. I used to be a debt collector for the Department of Education, and I was involved more with the defaulted loans, so you already had to have defaulted in order for me to contact you. We would work with you. We would put you in a program called a rehabilitation program. It would be something that would allow you to have payments as low as $5 a month. It depends on what your financial situation was. Like, the lowest you would get is $5 a month, and you would pay it over 9 months. And then after you do that, then your loans would be taken out of default. Of course, you can only do it once, so if you happen to go back into default, then you're screwed. But the whole $5 thing, what it doesn't, what you don't really bother to think about really when you see stuff like that is your student loan is still accumulating interest. So while you're paying $5 a month, if your student loans are like $20,000, then you're gaining, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but you're gaining like money on top of that debt as time goes on, and you're only paying $5 back to it. So by the time you get out of the program, your debt is higher than what it was when you start the program. So always take into account interest, because like I said, even though someone might offer you, okay, well, we'll offer you a really low payment, you want to try to knock out your student loan as quickly and as fast as possible. Don't try to get trapped in the whole, I call it credit card situation, because a lot of people pay their minimum on their credit card, not realizing interest rates and things like that, and it accumulates over time. And then next thing you know, by the time you end up paying your credit card off, 20 years would have gone by, and it could just be a small, it could be like $5,000, but because you're paying, let's say, $200 a month, the interest makes up like 150 of those dollars. So you're only paying like $50 on the actual debt each month until, you know, you're a middle-aged person and you're just now getting off of that credit. Yeah, this is something really I wanted to talk about for a while, because like I said, I went through college. I didn't really feel like I learned anything. I would rather just go to a college campus, go to the bookstore, and buy a book out of my own pocket and just learn from that. Because the courses honestly aren't going to teach you a lot of pretty much anything different other than what's in the book. Usually whenever you go into college, every week you have a list of assignments you have to complete. You can do it whenever you want. Most people tend to pack it till the very end of the week and then just like do everything at once, which isn't recommended, but it's something that I did because I'm a procrastinator, sadly. And so you pack everything at the end of the week, and then the assignments they actually give you are pretty much just like read the book from this page to this page, and then you do like 100-word or 500-word essay on what you read or something like that. That's usually how it tends to go. So like I said, you don't really learn anything from the course itself. Most of the stuff you learn is just straight out of the book, just word for word, just reading out of the book, and then just pretty much regurgitating what you just read, just in your own words. So it's probably better if you just go to college campuses and just go to the bookstore and buy the book. Most college books are probably gonna be like $100-$200, something like that. If it's something that you really want to get into, it's not really an issue. Like I said, I was in video game development, so I would go ahead and use some of my student loan money to go and buy different types of books for a specific class. So I might go and get a Python programming book. There was another program they had us use. I forgot what it was called. It was something extremely basic. Visual Basic. As a matter of fact, that's what it was called, Visual Basics. They got C++ and all these other languages that you can buy. Just buy the books, get familiar with what the books tell you, and then just, as time goes on, just look up new information when like more stuff is added to those languages. You don't need to go into college stuff. Only thing you really need to go to college for is hands-on experience. If you're looking to be a doctor or anything like that, then you want to go to college because it's going to give you access to actually experiment with actual patients or possibly cadavers or whatever else they use to pick up like certain skills. You don't want to just jump into college for something that you can pretty much learn online. Like, you can learn how to program games online. You don't have to go to college to pick that up. That's going to be something that by the time you finish, like if you're really familiar with video games, you probably have a general idea of how they work anyway. All you really need to do is pick up the basics, and then once you have a general idea of how it works, then go ahead and get it. Then go ahead and like research the rest of it. I told you guys before that I wanted to try to get more into music, so I'm trying to pick up how chords work and the terminologies and things like that. Now, back in the day, I probably would have thought, okay, well, I'm gonna go to some type of music college or some college that specializes in music or something to get this. The thing is, I can probably learn all that stuff online. From what I've been told and what I've kind of started to pick up is chords and things like that aren't really difficult. As a matter of fact, it kind of translates across every instrument you use. a guitar chord. If you know guitar chords, you can probably pick up the basic gist of what piano chords are. Like they're kind of the same. It's just that you want to go ahead and get online or whatever and look up what the differences are. Because like I said, the basics can pretty much be the same. Like as long as you got the general idea, you're good. Just make sure you invest in what makes them different. That's going to be it's going to be what gets you from one area to another. Let me see. What else can I tell you guys? Because I want to let people know about this because I wish this was stuff that I had known when I first got into college. Because I thought that when I got into college, it would be like this whole new experience where I would just be learning new stuff left and right and this, that, and the other. But like I said, it took me 2 years before I got to the point where I even had to crack open my college book. Like that is an absolute honest truth. I have college books in my room right now that have not been touched. Matter of fact, I probably can find some. Let me see. Yeah, I got a ton of college books. I mean, look at this. This was my visual. Okay, it's called Visual Logic. This was my Visual Logic book. You can see all this dust that's just just sitting on it. I bought it and then just sat on it the entire time because I never had to use it. I have a ton of other books. The books that I had to open were mainly when I switched my major over to sports science and things like that, trying to become a personal trainer. That's when I had to crack open the book because it got down more to like individual muscles and the ingredients and chemicals and how your body reacted to them and things like that. And that was something that I had to crack the book open. But when it came to the computer science part and learning programming and computer terms and things like that, I had no issue. I made the dean's list every single semester that I was in this program simply because I already knew most of it. And chances are, like I said, if you were into video games or computers in general, you probably know most of it too. Like, it didn't take me a college course to be able to build my own computer. All you have to do is just look up the general information. For the most part, a computer just consists of a motherboard, a CPU, some RAM, a graphics card, a power supply unit, and that's pretty much it. Anything else you get can be just cosmetic. I mean, you don't even need a chassis to tell the truth. If you got a spot where you can sit those parts at, you can have your computer scattered across your room and it'll still function just as well. It's just that you gotta be careful because it'll be easier to have stuff contaminated. But I mean, you can putting stuff into a motherboard is pretty easy. It seems hard at first. It seems really hard at first, but it gets a lot easier the more you do it, and to the point where it's like, oh well, I can probably put a computer together without even like looking at the manual for the motherboard. Like you kind of get how the terms of the motherboard work because there's certain things written on it, and you can kind of tell where everything goes. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Like you will get a gist of what everything is about. It's not as hard as people make it seem, and there's a lot of people that don't really like, especially people that don't go to college or didn't go to college. They always like try to preach to you how important college is and how you need. I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's a lot of people that went to college that don't have a job. Only thing they have is student loan debt. They work at a regular job, or they work at a job that you probably know people that work at your job that graduated college, but y'all two are in the exact same place. Like, that's kind of how I felt. Like, I was working in a warehouse, and there was a lot of people that didn't go to college at all. Some of them were making more money than me, and I was in this warehouse with them, like on the floor, you know, moving stuff and getting like. And the thing is, like, even with my experience in college, or the experience I've had with computers, it still didn't land any type of job. Only thing that's going to get you a job is a specific degree and experience. Now, it's a key word, and experience. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, you only need a college degree. No, you need experience too. If you just got a college degree and you don't know what the hell you're doing, or you just know like the very technical side of one thing, but you can't be flexible enough to understand okay, well, everything kind of goes together. I can figure out this, this, and this. Then you're screwed. And when I say technical, I mean like there's a lot of I can go back to the music analogy I did earlier. Like somebody that's real technical with guitars might be able to figure out everything with a guitar, but because they're so rigid when it comes to like flexibility, they get to a piano and they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But somebody that has experience in music that might not have gone to college and know all the technical terms of like music notes and music sheets and understanding how to write the stuff down. Like you might be able to read a guitar, like a music sheet for a guitar, but then when you get to the piano, you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, but someone that has experience, they're like, okay, well, I understand chords, so this is okay, C chord, D chord, C minor, C major, whatever, and then like they get to a piano, it's like, okay, well, this is a C. This is okay, I think I got a general idea. All right, now let me go ahead and figure my way through it. Like the experience will give you comfort. Like you'll get to a point where you just understand how stuff works. Like if I was teaching someone to drive and it was their first time driving, like let's say they're on the road and okay, this is only going to work with people that are probably from America because roads work opposite. Just pretend I'm saying everything opposite in other areas. Imagine you're driving down the road and then there's a intersection and there's another car like on their major turning lane. Like for us, it's left. You go left to cross over lanes. Right is just like right next to the curb, so you can just turn whenever you want to. But left is when you have to have the light and it has to be clear and everything else. So imagine if there's two cars coming to an intersection and they're turning left and there's no light. So you're driving up to this intersection, you want to turn left, but there's a car coming. That car turns on its left turn signal. A lot of people that are technical probably will sit there and just wait and like, okay, well, I don't know what he's going to do, so let me just wait. A person with enough experience is like, okay, they're about to turn left. If I do this fast enough, if I turn fast enough, we can both turn at the same time and just keep traffic moving. We don't got to worry about all that extra stuff. Or like with enough experience driving, you're just like, okay, well, I'm behind a bus and we're approaching an intersection. A person that has experience driving knows that usually after intersections is right where right where bus stops are. So if you're behind a bus and you're approaching an intersection, that bus, once it crosses the intersection, is going to stop because there's a bus stop somewhere. A person that has experience will know, okay, well, let me go ahead and get from behind this bus and just keep going. A person with experience driving knows that if you're driving next to somebody, it's better to either speed up or slow down so you're not directly next to them, because one thing is the car next to you might be wanting to try to get over at some point, and you don't want to have them switch lanes without paying attention to you, because that happens a lot. There's a lot of times when you're driving and someone will just start switching lanes next to you and you got to honk your horn at them or something. You don't want to be next to a truck because you always, even if they do see you, you have this idea, okay, well, they might not see me. They might try to switch lanes. And if they don't see me, I'm screwed. So let me go ahead and get ahead of them or behind them or something like that. Like experience will teach you things that you can kind of just use in other situations that you can just adapt in. All the stuff that I told you about driving on the road, you can go to any other part of the country, and if it's a similar situation, you already know, okay, well, there's probably gonna be a bus stop over here, so let me go ahead and, stay away from that side of the lane until I get, into a more open area or something like that. Or, okay, well, there's this intersection and this car is about to turn, but there's cars behind them approaching them. If I can do it fast enough, I might be able to just turn in without any issues. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I'm at this intersection. There's a car coming perpendicular with me, and they have their turn signal. So if they turn, then I can if I'm right here and there's a car right here, and the car is coming like this, and I want to turn here, and the car has a signal to turn into where I'm at, we should be able to just go and nobody has issues. But with experience, okay, well, sometimes when they turn their blinker on, they don't turn. They just keep going, and they might be going to something further back, but for some reason they turn their light on here. So you just wait, And then as soon as they passed, I was like, yep, see, I knew it. If I would have went out, he would have probably hit me because, or they would have probably hit me because, you know, they don't know how to use a damn blinker. It's just experiences that you just pick up on. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to let you guys know. Just if you plan on going to college, make sure that you have done your homework and you know for sure what you want to do as a career. Like I said, talk to people, go to job fairs, do whatever you got to do to pick up first how the ins and outs of that job work ahead of time. Don't just get the cookie cutter, the sugar coated explanation that some people give you. Oh yeah, the job's easy. All you gotta do is this, and this. No, study the hard stuff. Look up people that talk about the sucky part of that job. And then when you study the worst that job has to offer, and if you can come out and be like, all right, I think I can handle that. Okay, then start looking at the positives, and then if it's something you want, then go into it. Don't look at just the positives like video game development. Oh, I get to make video games and I get to play games all day. And no, look at the hard stuff first. The extreme overtime that you have to work, and the deadlines, and the uncertainty with job security, because when the game is finished, a lot of times companies will just let their employees go, and they might call them again later if they start developing a new game, but a lot of times you're just like a contractor. They call you in when they need you. So make sure you pick up all that stuff before you actually get into the career that you want to get into. Anyway, that's been this video. I'm the original Renaissance man, Devon DaVinci. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. I just wanted to express, you know, my experiences with college and things like that, and pick up on what Tyrone Magnus was talking about. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to some reactions. I know that's what you guys want to check out. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I've said enough. Deuces.